Prime Minister, can you confirm for us, you now have a plan, a real plan you can put to the European Union?
Yes, I mean, we're going to, in the next few days, we're going to be putting forward some ideas. And look, I want to be clear with you, Andy, this is going to be a tough old negotiation, but there is an opportunity. I do think that our friends would like to do a deal. If we possibly can, we really want to do a deal. That I can see a way forward that allows us to protect the Good Friday peace process, keeps complete freedom of movement, no checks at the border in Northern Ireland, protects the single market for the Irish, very, very important, but also allows the UK to come out of the EU whole and entire and protect the GB Northern Ireland relationship, which is also commercially massively important. So it's complicated, but there is a way of doing it.
You say you can see a way forward. Already it seems people on the other side of the negotiation, not least the Irish Deputy Prime Minister, are saying this is a non-starter. Why do you think you have any confidence that they are going to buy into this when they're already saying, sorry, this just does not answer our problem?
Well, I don't know whether they're referring to previous non-papers or whether they're referring to the documents that we're about to be handing. It's not clear to me. I think there's some misunderstanding because they're talking about the creation of border posts away from the border. That's certainly not something that we want to do.
You're saying that's not going to happen?
Well, that's certainly not what we're proposing. So, yes, I think it's crucial to understand that there will have to be checks away from the border, but you can do that without creating infrastructure or whatever.
But that already seems to be too much for the other side. That's what I'm saying, that they say there can't be any idea of checks even away from the border because that reinforces the idea of the border.
Well, let's see where we are on that. And I do agree with you. That is where the rubber hits the road. And if I can
we haven't got an answer yet. We haven't fixed this yet.
No, absolutely. You're right. And it will be very difficult. And the reason is that there's a clear logical imperative for if a country is to have its independence, then it's got to be part of the same customs union. And you can't have a situation in which Northern Ireland is kept in the customs union of the EU. That plainly won't work. So there has to be another way forward, and that's what we're working on.
Okay, but if you can't do a deal, October the 31st, you have said Britain will be leaving come what may on that date.
Yes.
The law as it stands says no, you have to go and ask for an extension.
Well,
what is the way out?
Well, the way out is to get a deal if we possibly can.
But if you can't get a deal, there has to be a plan B.
Let's see. If you don't mind, I think it would be much better for us as a country and for the negotiations if we get on and focus on the upside.
But people would like to know if there is a plan B, because otherwise it just looks like you're making it up as you go along, and you don't have an answer for what you do.
Well, I can take. We will respect the law, but we will come out. And we will come out on October the 31st. But the priority is to get a deal, and there is the scope to do a deal, and I think we should be very excited about it.
Are you worried that this period we're in now, with all the antagonism, is actually doing some damage to us as a country, with trust in our institutions, trust in each other? Are you worried that what's been going on?
Well, I think it's important not to exaggerate all this, but I do think that there is a fretful mood. I think there's no question. I think business wants a conclusion to this. The public wants a conclusion to this. I think whether you voted Leave or Remain, on the whole, people want to get this done.
Sorry to interrupt. Do you worry it's more than a fretful mood when you take into account some people's attitude to the judges, the verdict of the Supreme Court, about MPs, what's said about Parliament? Do you worry this is just doing some damage?
I don't think. I think we're a very robust country, and we've got very robust institutions, and we should be very proud of our democracy. And one of the reasons that we should be proud of our democracy is that we had a vote. Parliament swore several times to uphold it. Parliament voted several times to respect the referendum result, and I think we've got to do it. I think what's happening now, Andy, is that there's a fretful mood, but that's because we haven't yet got it done. I genuinely think that once we've come out and once we've got it over the line, I think that the fever will abate and temperatures will subside and people will want to move on. And the great thing is that we will then be able to get on with the work of building a new partnership with our EU friends. And that has been delayed for 3.5 years.
Okay,
and there's a big opportunity there.
Can I ask you, do you think you've contributed to this fretful mood by some of the language you've used, by the fact that you have made it quite antagonistic? You know, you've said, you know, you haven't unified, if I can put it like that. You've taken this argument out to the country and said, you know, Parliament won't let us do it. We've got to make sure we do it.
I think the reality is that I've been entrusted with the job of getting this deal done and getting Brexit over the line when, let's be frank, quite a lot of people don't agree, and quite a lot of people in positions of power and authority don't agree.
Do you think they're playing fair?
Well, no, look, I don't want to, but that's just we've got a very sophisticated system of government struggling in a way to cope with the impact of a very powerful democratic imperative. And that was the vote to come out of the EU. It was the biggest ever vote in favour of any party or proposition in the history of our democratic politics. And we have to respect that. We have to get it done. And my anxiety is that if we don't get it done, then what you rightly refer to as the fretful mood, or I characterise as the fretful mood, that will just continue and it won't get better. And that's why I totally reject the suggestion from Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party that it would be a great idea to stay on for month after month at a cost of £1 billion a month to no purpose whatever. I think what the people of this country want is to get it done.
Frank, I just want to change direction on a slightly different matter, completely different matter. If an employee of yours, a member of your staff, put their hand on a woman's knee under the table, basically groped her, what would you do? I take that kind of thing very seriously. If you were their boss, would you fire them?
And I no way minimise, it would obviously depend on the exact nature of the offence and what happened, but I no way minimise that kind of thing. What I've said about this particular allegation is it's not true. And if I may, I think that it's, what I want to do is to talk about our domestic agenda. And for me, that is far more important. So I would like to draw attention.
If it was a member of your staff, you would take that seriously?
Of course. But since it's not true, what I can tell you about is our domestic agenda, which is the biggest ever investment in hospital infrastructure in a generation.
And we have
40, have you? I bet you haven't done enough.
We have on our
40 hospitals there will be as a result of the decisions we're taking. The biggest expansion of the living wage ever, abolishing low pay, reducing the age of those who receive it to 21, going up to £10.50 an hour. This is a fantastic thing. I did a lot to expand the living wage in London. We greatly expanded, and it is a wonderful thing.
To ask you about part of your domestic agenda, Prime Minister,
for people that receive it, it's good, it's right. People have been paid too little for too long. I want a high wage, low tax, high productivity economy. That's why we're investing in broadband. That's why we're investing in better buses. That's why we're levelling up education funding across the country, because you lift up productivity and the living wage is part of that.
I want to ask you about a part of your domestic agenda which is being featured today, which is action against county line gangs and drugs. Obviously, there's an important policing aspect to this. Do you have a message for, let's call them the middle-class drugs users? Do you have a message for them, the people who are buying these drugs?
Yeah, I think that they are driving this problem and helping to drive this problem. I hope they think about it, because let's be clear, what you have tragically are kids dying on the streets of our cities as part of these county lines networks to help feed a habit of other people in the UK, and that's why. That's what. Well,
those people who are buying those.
I want to roll up the county lines networks. I want to come down hard on the people who are doing it, but particularly on the masterminds, the people who are behind it.
What about the people who are buying the drugs? The people who, in the end, are driving this whole murderous cycle. What should happen to them?
Well, I think that obviously what they're doing is wrong, but they're the criminals, and they
Should they be prosecuted?
Well, they are when people are caught using Class A drugs. So of course, it's an offence. But what we should be doing is tracking the money, making sure that we have more people at the railway stations to pick up the kids, to see where they're going. We need to be coordinating better across the country. We need to be rolling up these networks. I've noticed in the last 2 years, just as a local MP, I mean the social services, the police, everybody, even the NHS, everybody is following the effects of these county lines networks. They are doing huge damage across our country. They need to be rolled up. We can roll them up, and stop and search policing is part of tackling the gangs as well.
Can I ask another aspect of the domestic agenda? Immigration. You want to bring in a new immigration system to control immigration. Would an aim of that system, your new system, be to reduce immigration? Would you regard that as part of the purpose?
What I would like is an immigration system that responds to the needs of the British economy properly.
Does that mean not necessarily bringing immigration down?
I think immigration has been very high. It really has been very high.
Would it be an aim of your policy to bring it down?
I would like to see, to be frank, I think that immigration that simply substitutes low-skill, low-wage workers from one country for UK workers, and therefore stops people investing in capital, stops people investing in technology, stops people investing in the skills of young people growing up in this country. Yes, I do think that's a mistake. And so I would want to...
Would it be part of your policy to try and drive immigration down? That's what I'm trying to get.
Well, it depends what sort of immigration you're talking about. If you're talking about low-skill immigration, then that simply depresses wages and stops companies from investing in technology, and also means that we don't invest enough in the skills of young people growing up in our country, then I think that's an economic mistake. But when it comes to scientists, artists, when it comes to people from around the world who want to come and take part in the incredible economy that we have, who have talents and who have skills and who can make a great contribution, then I believe in openness. When I was running London, we had a policy of being open to the world, allowing people to come and make their lives in our city. It was fantastically successful. But there's a balance.
A lot of people voted in that referendum because they wanted to bring immigration down. It doesn't sound as if that's a priority or a drive of your policy.
No, well, I think you're not listening to what I'm saying.
Oh, I am.
Because
you're not saying I want to bring it down, definitely.
I certainly want to reduce low-skilled immigration that supplants UK workers and stops us investing in capital, stops us investing in the skills of young people. I don't think that's been the right way forward.
Last question. You've moved in, new home. Is it true the dog is frightened of Larry the cat?
It would be terrible of me to comment he's a very brave dog. He's not frightened of nothing.
Because I heard that the dog was frightened of the cat.
Frightened. I'm not going to have the courage of the dog impugned. He's a very brave and a very good dog.